Hello, this is Lionel Nixon, and we are doing the show I Got Something to Say, and this is a Nixon report. I'm here today with Chief NOMO. Chief NOMO is a Fonte chief of Ghana. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderfully well, and how are you, sir?
Well, I'm just so happy to be here. I was here the other day for the African Fest that was put on by the Independent Black Media of Chicago, and this place, which is gorgeous, out in the beautiful community of South Shore in Chicago, was just filled with people and all kinds of activities. Let me ask you a question, Chief NOMO. You say that you are a chief. What kind of chiefs are there?
Well, there's three types of chief. There's an appointed chief. Of course, he's appointed. There's an honorary chief. It's an honor bestowed on a person. And there's an installed chief. I'm an installed chief. An installed chief is a chief who was elected by the people who represent the people. So I'm a Fonte chief of Gambwa Techi Mine, Ghana, West Africa.
Thanks a lot, Chief. That's very interesting information. I know that you take people to Ghana.
Yes, we come to America several times a year, and as we go back, many people want to go back to Ghana and to the continent. And of course, I accommodate them and escort them back to the motherland.
I understand that in Ghana that it's against the law for people who are not of African descent to be on the police force, military, or the government. I heard that. Is it true?
It's true. The jobs are created for us, the people. And for others who wants to come in, they can come in and set up their businesses and create employment. But the employment that we create, we have to create that employment for our local people.
Well, now, Chief, I want to ask you another question, and that is, what are your hopes and what you're trying to do? I know that you have a wonderful shop here that we're going to look at that has all kinds of beautiful artifacts. How are you working to improve the relationships between people of African descent in America and across the diaspora in the world and the people of Ghana and the rest of Africa?
Well, number one, I can only speak about Ghana. That's where I live most of the time. There's 53 countries on the continent of Africa.
Yes.
America can sit inside the continent of Africa 3 times, and there's 1 billion people there, of which I know nothing about all of that. So I can speak to you somewhat about Ghana.
Let's talk about Ghana.
And Ghana is the 4th best country on the continent of Africa to do business.
All right.
Ghana did not go along with the program of having their loans forgiven. Ghana say, we made our loans, we have the money to pay our loans, and we'll pay our loans. That's an honorable position because we do not like for the creditors be knocking at our door.
Very interesting, Chief. I'm told that there are different languages in Africa. I got a statistic from you that 43% of the countries in Africa are French. Ghana's English-speaking. Sierra Leone is English-speaking. And Liberia is English-speaking. That's kind of an advantage for us Americans that primarily speak English, isn't it?
Well, of course, absolutely, because number one, a barrier is the language. So if I go to a francophone country, I'm going to need to speak the tribal language, or I'm going to need to speak French. For us in America, we need to go first to a country that speaks English so we won't have to deal with that barrier, because we're already dealing with a cultural barrier. We're dealing with a distance barrier, so we need to break down as many barriers as we can so we can communicate with the people on a local level.
Absolutely. It's time to grab a pen and dial a friend. You're watching I Got Something to Say, the NIXON report. And we're talking here today with Chief NOMO a Fonte chief of Ghana at his beautiful location in South Shore in Chicago. I want to go a little bit further with this and ask you, how did you get the idea, Chief, to start and create this beautiful facility, and when did you do this?
Well, first of all, I was born in Mississippi, Greenwood, Mississippi. So I'm an African American, and so there is two sides to me, the American side and the African side, more specifically the Ghanaian side. Back in 1971, I went to the continent of Africa for the first time with Irvin France. Irvin France was the Model Cities Director for Mayor Daley, the current mayor's father.
Yes.
And I didn't see any black people.
Yes.
And I looked at the map. I'm in North Africa, so I saw many people of a light hue.
Yes.
And so I began to do my research, and I had to go where my people were located. In '93, I ran into a Ghanaian minister, and he had to go back home because his education was over here. So we got him a job at our church, and after 3 years of good work, he said, I'm going home for the summer. I said, I'm going with you. We studied for a year, and 27 of us went back to Ghana to visit Ghana, and from that time on, my spirit knew it was at home. And from that time on, I never looked for another place. And so Ghana has become my home, and America has become my home. And I welcome you to Chief NOMO's Oasis here on the south side of Chicago in the great South Shore area.
Now, you know, a lot of people, they think, well, Africa, Ghana included, is, you know, they're looking for Tarzan and folks running in and out of the jungle. Ghana is a very modernized country, isn't it?
Well, Africa, as we said, you can set the United States inside of it 3 times.
Yeah.
Now, the people in New York City are not the same kind of people in Los Angeles. Am I right? So the people in West Africa are not the same kind of people in East Africa or North Africa. So we have to look at the continent of Africa has 53 countries on it. The North American continent has 3 countries on it. So we can't say Africa unless we're comparing it with another continent. I'm from and enjoy the pleasures of Ghana, West Africa. There's 52 other countries that I don't know a lot about, just like you may not know a lot about the 52 states in the United States of America.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, I've seen pictures of my colleagues who say that there's some places you can go in people's backyards and find gold and find all kinds of things. It's the land of milk and the land of honey. And what I'm finding out now is that you are one of the most knowledgeable people in America about the country of Ghana, and you have this beautiful facility here where you can share part of that culture, and we're going to go inside your facility and look at some of the wonderful things that you've got. And I am just very happy to have this opportunity to be able to do this TV show with you as I begin to work to get the NIXON report on television, working with my good friend Robert Pears, who's the producer. And if you want more information about this show, call 773-971-7392. You're watching I Got Something to Say. This is a NIXON report. All right, before we go in, Chief NOMO, I want to share with the public one of the best kept secrets in the world on the subject matter of the continent of Africa. They tell me that Africa is a continent. It is not a country. And we have this wonderful map. It is just amazing to see how modern Africa is. Could you tell us a little bit about this poster being revealed on I Got Something to Say, the NIXON report, for the first time in America?
Yes. So there's 53 countries on the continent of Africa. And a picture speaks 1,000 words. So we brought you a picture of many cities on the continent of Africa. So they think that we live in trees. They tell us about huts. And nothing wrong with a hut during a hurricane. A hut is the best place to be during a hurricane, not a concrete building. But however, look at the cities and the continent of Africa. You look at Bamako, Mali. You look at Accra, Ghana, West Africa. You look at Dao in Cameroon. So you're looking at modern cities. That is not to say that there are no huts in Ghana. There are shacks in America. So wherever you go in the world, you have your rich and your poor. Everyone is not rich in America, and everyone is not poor on the continent of Africa. So as you can see the pictures, that will speak 1,000 words, and I don't have to speak too much anymore. Any other questions?
Well, I'm telling you, I'm just so glad that I have been able to accomplish the ability to meet you and get this wonderful information, and I'm going to take this back to St. Louis. I go back and forth to Chicago from the St. Louis and Southern Illinois region and share this wonderful information with them. And if you want to find out how you could get one of these, dial the number 773-971-7392. I got something to say. This is a NIXON report. Well, this is just an amazing place I'm looking at right here. And hey, look at my hat. My garb, my African garb. I lost the stuff in moving back and forth to St. Louis and traveling around the country for the last 4 years. I really don't think I got any African garb left, but they were nice enough to let me wear this. Chief NOMO, could you tell me about this hat?
Well, that's authentic kente cloth from Ghana, West Africa. That is one of the most expensive materials in the world. So you have on a che, that is the name for hat in the Tree language. Now in America we do a lot of Swahili, so then we're dealing with the Akan tribe in Ghana, West Africa, and you see the kente.
This is great, great, great. And what do we have here?
This is a staff, and as you look at this staff, represent the two of the slowest animals in the world, the tortoise and the snail, two of the slowest animals in the world, and they get to where they're going on time, which is a symbol, haste makes waste.
That's powerful stuff. Well, now we're inside this beautiful facility. And Chief NOMO, who do we have here?
Well, I would like to introduce you to my lovely wife. As you know, my mother picked her for me, and my mother proposed to her for me, and so she is my queen. And I'd like to introduce you to my queen, Amborkido, also known as Natalie White Johnson.
Well, it is so nice meeting you. We were here the other day at the African Fest, put on by the Independent Black Media of Chicago, which I'm a member, and this place was just filled with people, authors, and people from around the country, and all kinds of interesting activities were going on. We had a little chess tournament going on, we had some cards going, but more importantly, we had cultural activity going on, and some other announcements that the chief will make later on this year. But now let me turn my attention to Miss Johnson and ask you, Miss Johnson, we have this beautiful facility, and I'm looking at this wall right in back of you. Can you tell us a little bit about where we are now?
Well, I know we are in our living room showroom, and we have everything that we get from Ghana. The carvings are all from Ghana, and the oil paintings are from Ghana. And we try to get things unique that you don't see everywhere. We get the carvings directly in the carving villages. We go up into the Aburi Mountains, about 2 hours outside of Accra, Ghana, and get the carvings directly from the carvers. And we can bargain and deal, and we find out what the meanings of the symbols on the mask mean, and we can relay that to people as they look at the mask.
Okay. Let me ask you a question again about this wall. Tell me about this picture.
Well, this picture is a painting of women dancing. It's from Ghana. We get them from the local artists, and we bring them to Chicago in order for you to enjoy the local artwork. All the different artists have an opportunity to talk to us and tell us about their paintings and their work. We have the masks are from different tribes, from the Akan and the Awe and the Ga, and also the Fanti that we get the masks from. Here we have Adinkra symbols that all have different meanings. The red symbol at the top is called the Jinyame. That is well known all over Ghana. The Jinyame, the symbol, is the symbol for God. That means there is nothing except God. So we have masks with all the different symbols, and we find out what they mean and give you that information as you look at them.
All right. Well, listen, there's more to say. There's more to see, and you are watching. I've got something to say. If you want to find out more about our guests, want to find out more about this show, call 773-971-7392. This is a NIXON report. All right, now wow, look at this artwork. Tell me about what I'm looking at. I'm just excited. Hey, Chief NOMO, I'm going to Ghana, folks.
Yes, and once you go to Ghana, you can pick out your own beautiful art. We have artwork from different artists in Ghana, and these are beautiful examples of them that we've had framed. We also have masks here. There is a moon mask there, and the moon mask has the Sankofa bird. Sankofa means you have to understand your past to know your future. So we get masks and we find out what they mean. The moon shines the light over the ocean for the fishermen so that they can bring fish in the morning. So that's fashioned after the moon. We have lamps here that are made of cocoa leaves. The cocoa leaf lamp is from the Philippines, so that we get things from all over the world so that you get to enjoy all the different pieces and talents of others in the world.
Wow, this is interesting. Tell me about where we at, Mrs. Johnson. I mean, I feel like I'm in Ghana, and folks, I'm definitely going to Ghana. There's no question about that. So look forward to the NIXON report from Ghana, Africa. Go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
Well, Lionel, we are in the bedroom showroom of the 7 showrooms we have at Amborkido Designs on 83rd Street in South Shore, Chicago. But here we have shower curtains, maybe 3 dozen shower curtains in Afrocentric patterns, and we have matching towels to go with them, so that as you buy your shower curtain, you can have towels to go with them to accent your bathrooms. We have mud cloth wall hangings here, or you can use them as bedspreads, and the mud cloth comes directly from Ghana. And we make the bedspreads and pillows and the coats that you see, along with duvet covers and pillows. So all of these things are made here in Chicago, and we assist people with their decorating and with their home decor, so that we have a few items in clothing from Ghana, and we have hats, everything that you would want for your home in Amborkido Designs.
This is amazing. Somebody told me that they took one piece of wood and made this. Could you, Mrs. Johnson, please explain to me about this beautiful piece of artwork?
Well, Lionel, this is called Men in Unity or Umoja, and it's done by the Fanti tribes in Ghana, West Africa, about 2 hours outside of Accra. We go to the village where they're made, and they're called Men in Unity because they start out with one log like this, start carving on the wood, and by the time they get through carving, they whittle it down, and then by the time they're finished, they become three separate men who are inseparable, like the one my husband has, so that they are represent unity, harmony of the family, and there are no two alike. And these are done out of sese wood in Ghana.
That is amazing talent to just take a piece of wood and be able to cut that out. What is your take on that, Chief?
Well, it's a wonderful piece. This is carved by the Fanti tribe of Ghana, West Africa, and this is carved in Cocoa Bend, the village of Cocoa Bend. And you have to fall the tree, pay the chief to fall the tree, and it must lay for 40 days before they begin to carve, or else when you bring it to America, they will crack.
We're at the beautiful Ann Borky Designs in South Shore in Chicago, Illinois, my hometown. And we're talking with Chief NOMO and his beautiful and talented wife, Natalie White Johnson. If you want more information about this show and about the people that I'm interviewing, call 773-971-7392. I Got Something to Say is the show, and this is a NIXON report. What are you guys' hopes and dreams for bringing together information, communication, commerce, economics between the people of Ghana, the people in America, and the people in the diaspora of African descent in particular around the world? Of course, you're reaching out to all the people in the world, regardless of whom they are, but you're starting at home. What is your take on that?
Well, I'd like to say that because we've been doing business in Ghana since 1993, that the hopes in Ghana is for African Americans to come home, to bring our money, our education, our assets home to be used in Ghana for their benefit. Since we were taken out in chains, we can come back with everything that's needed. We have money, we have business acumen, so that we can take it back to our homeland and use it there so that they can benefit from the knowledge that we have, so that we can do business, we can import items, we can export items to Ghana, so that everyone can make a little money. They can learn from us. They are so thirsty for knowledge of America and what it's like to live here. And we have so much to share, and they are friendly and open to African Americans, and they just want us to come there and get land, build homes, build businesses, and so that we both can enjoy both aspects of America and Africa.
Wow. Listen, my good friend Chief NOMO is going to help me go to Ghana, folks. You've taken a lot of people to Ghana, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Since 1993, not only have we taken a lot of people to Ghana, we have relocated a lot of people to Ghana and set them up in the business. Reverend Lowe, one of your good friends, lives in Ghana now. And there's over 5,000 African Americans who live in Ghana. Isaac Hayes lived in Ghana, have a nice home in Ghana before he came back to Memphis and made his transition.
Well, that's absolutely, I'm overwhelmed with the beauty and the sincerity of our guests on I've Got Something to Say, a NIXON Report segment. And as we begin to leave this beautiful place, I'd like to get some closing remarks on some of the things that you have in place here. And one of them is this broom. Can you tell us, what does all of this mean? I know that this broom has some significance, and because I'm interviewing, I'm sitting in this seat, but actually there are two seats. One that Sister Johnson is sitting in, and the other that Chief NOMO is sitting in. Tell us.
This is the wedding broom. Now, my wife, her African name is Mborki Doe. My mother picked her for me. My mother proposed to her for me. And so we had to jump over the broom as a symbol of our marriage. As in the European countries, they put a wedding ring on as a part of the marriage ceremony. So as you see the broom, and as you begin to get married with Afrocentric tradition, you will have the broom to jump over, and that is the symbol of your unity in jumping over the broom together.
That is a great explanation of an old tradition that I had heard about it. You heard it firsthand on I Got Something to Say, and if you want more information about our guests or this show, then you simply call 773-971-7392. This is I Got Something to Say, a NIXON report segment. My written television opportunity to move from the newspaper to television is here. Do you have any closing remarks that you'd like to make, Miss Johnson, before we go?
I would just like to encourage every African American to go back home, to go to a place where you know you truly belong and you feel like you belong. It's a wonderful spiritual experience, and I would want to share that with everyone that I meet. That going home and feeling that your ancestors know that you have brought them back in one way is to bring them back through the door of no return, and I encourage everyone to experience that and know what it feels like to understand your heritage and to bring it back.
Well, Chief, we're going to give you the last word, but I'm going to tell you something. We're going to get this show aired because that's what I do. I'm a media counsel for the people, Lionel Nixon, and we're going to get this show aired all over the country, starting in Chicago. Again, the show is I've Got Something to Say. Want more information, 773-971-7392. We're going to give you the last word, and I want to shake your hand, brother. Thank you so much for the opportunity to get into the doorway that's going to lead me back home.
Well, thank you very much. And yes, you're going home with me so that we can tape that and bring it back to show how the people in Ghana are waiting for their relatives here in America to come home so that they can give you part of your reparations in land. And I am entitled to make sure that happens to every African American who come home, to have land for your base, to build your business, to build your home, and to have a place to visit when it's too cold here in America.
Oh, that's great. Now you heard it directly here. Look out for the NIXON report, a portion of the show I Got Something to Say. From Ghana, Africa, people. We want to thank you very much for tuning in today. We want to thank our guests so much. And if you want more information about the show, call 773-971-7392. I Got Something to Say. My dear friend Robert Pears is the producer. So long from South Shore in Chicago, Illinois.